Mr. Saktiandi Supat.
Mr. Speaker, sir, from January 2020 to September 2020, 8,600 retail businesses ceased operations. This was 330 more than the same period between 2018 and 2019. However, there were 15,570 new retail businesses set up, resulting in a net increase of 6,970 retail firms over the same period from January 2020 to September 2021. For the tourism industry, despite some exits since January 2020, new entrants have kept the number of tourism businesses in operation fairly stable. For example, the number of licensed hotels today remains at around 420, despite 13 hotels having ceased operations. The total number of licensed tourist guides is still around 2,900, even with 175 tourist guides choosing not to renew their licenses during this period. Travel agents, unfortunately, have been impacted more. 157 travel agents ceased their operation. This represents 8% of all licensed travel agents, although around 30 new travel agents entered the market. The government has supported the sector with the highest tier of support under the Job Support Scheme. Together with other broad-based government support measures, this has helped cushion the impact of COVID-19 on the sector. Initiatives such as the Singapore Rediscovers Voucher Scheme, SRV, have also helped stimulate demand by encouraging Singaporeans to rediscover our city, our tourism product offerings, and support local tourism businesses, including those of travel agents. The launch of the SRV scheme has also helped tourist guides. Between the launch of the SRV scheme and the start of the heightened alert in May 2021, monthly tour participants grew fivefold, from just over 10,000 to more than 50,000. To further help our tourist guides cope with business costs, STB also waived the tourist guide license fees in 2020 and 2021, as well as test fees for those who wish to be licensed in another language. STB expects tourism to reach pre-pandemic levels in the next few years. In the meantime, we are helping companies in the retail and tourism sectors transform and upgrade themselves so that they can better capture opportunities when travel resumes. With regards to retailers, for retailers looking to develop their online sales channels, they can receive support from Enterprise Singapore's e-commerce booster package, which defrays the cost of joining e-commerce platforms, or use ESG's Productivity Solutions Grant to build capabilities in areas such as digital marketing as well as e-commerce. The tourism sector is also receiving support from STB to pursue transformation efforts to ready itself for the recovery. Examples include the Business Improvement Fund for technology innovation and the adoption of business models and processes to improve productivity and competitiveness, and training industry professionals in the tourism scheme, which supports employee upgrading and talent and leadership development. Thank you.
Mr. Saktiandi Supat.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank MOS for the answers. And it's good to hear that MOS mentioned that there is this SRV scheme that has been very useful for the retail and the tourism sector. But he did share that there were 157 travel agents which have ceased operations. My SQ is in particular about those working in the tourism and retail sector. I have a number of residents who are used to or are working in the tourism and retail sector, which is in partial limbo over the past 1.5 years. My question is whether we have the number of tour guides or retail frontline workers who have switched industries or switched jobs permanently. And can I also ask about the status of our local travel agencies in Singapore, and if they will survive or grow going forward? Also, what outlook can we expect for the retail sector and the tourism industry, travel agency business in this endemic scenario that we're going to face over the next year or so? Thanks, MOS.
Thank the member for his supplementary questions. Let me go to our tourism sector first. Between January 2020 and 20th October 2021, 4,373 workers were retrenched across the core tourism industries, 58% of whom were locals. However, with early intervention and support under the SG United Jobs and Skills Initiative, 67% of the locals who were retrenched between January and September 2020 found new employment within 6 months. With regards to the tourist guides, while we do not track the redeployment of tourist guides, close to 250 tourist guides has served as safe distancing ambassadors with STB. As I mentioned earlier on in my reply, the SRV scheme has also helped local tourist guides, with monthly tour participants growing fivefold between the launch of the SRV scheme and the start of the heightened alert in May 2021. And I also mentioned earlier on STB waiving the tourist guide license fees as well as test fees. So all of this in concert and all of this in totality is helping preserve our capability in our tourism sector, which is an important sector, while we await for the recovery in global travel as well as the tourism industry. But we must preserve this. The SRV, for example, helps us to create new product offerings locally with tourist guides, forming new products, and I think it will put them in good stead for when travel resumes in earnest and when tourists come into Singapore and are able to enjoy the sights and sounds here in Singapore. Just back onto the retail question. In 2020, 1,180 retail employees have been retrenched. It translates to 16.9% retrenched employees, 16.9 retrenched employees per 1,000 employees. Of these retrenched employees, 56% were able to enter a different industry within 6 months after retrenchment. But I also wanted to share a little bit about the Enterprise Singapore's retail industry transformation map as a forward-looking roadmap for our retail industry. The retail ITM has done a study, and they've looked at across the key trends in the retail industry. The key trends are digitalization, on-demand retail, hyper-personalization of goods, in effect, and conscious consumerism, which is very much related to the sustainability trend that we are seeing. So we are supporting our retail sector to take on and to ride these trends moving forward. Thank you.